Hi all. So just went through the prelims paper one, the general studies paper of the MCS 2023, and I'm sharing the answers with you all. But disclaimers that this is cannot be taken as the key, and there are very sometimes there are wrong answers, sometimes there are like interpretations, gray areas, and all those things. So this is generally to help you all to know, because we don't know when the MPSC key will come out. So just to help you out, I have just gone through and marked the questions. So the answers is highlighted in yellow color, and I discuss them one by one. So some of them can be wrong also. So please take caution and don't take it like that. I may be wrong also in some cases. This is just to help you out. And yeah, so let's start, and let's see all the questions one by one. All right, so let's start the discussion of the analysis, rather, of the questions. So the first question was on FEMA. So it's a very popular act when it comes to MCQs. So you should be well thorough with that when it was introduced. Again, a factual question. So here the answer should be C. Coming to the second question, Basel Basel Accord. Basel Accord. So basically, it's an international standard for banking regulators. So it has some standard. If you have read basic economics or current affairs, it was quite a news. So you must have seen this word, and you must have seen the three pillars it has, ABC. So not a pillar is the exchange control. So answer should be D here. So question number 3, which is about the Government of India Act 1935. So here you have to understand is that this is again a very common question when they ask about what in the constitution has come from where. So this you have to learn by heart, and you should know all the components. And in fact, the Government of India Act 1935 was pretty much like the basis. You can say like major portions of the constitution come from there. So the governor and the Public Service Commission come from there. But here we can see that concurrent list is something which came from the Australian constitution, and fundamental duties, of course, from the USSR. So answer should be B here. But it's a very common question, and I would advise that you should know all components by heart from where they have come. So this is very, very important. Question number 4, again a straight question. So this is again a very common, in fact in this paper you'll see another question. So there are different schedules to the constitution, right? So you should learn that as well, which schedule deals with that. So it's a simple question in that front. Now amendment acts are also very important. So 44th Amendment Act, 42nd Amendment Act, 73rd and 74th Amendment. So there are some very important amendment acts which you should learn and in detail about them, because MCQs are kind of tricky. So question number 5 deals with the 44th Amendment, and when national emergency happens, 19 is automatically suspended, so that's out of the way. So second cannot be there. So which leaves us with A and D, and 20 and 21 are basically cannot be suspended. So in that case, yes, answer should be D here. Question number 5th. Now coming to question number 6 about Attorney General of India. So this is another favorite topic from Polity. Attorney General, it can be Advocate General, and all these things you have to know everything about them. So here is a little dicey and gray, because he's a part of both. Second statement can be taken as true. I mean, it depends on the question setter, how they want to go, because he can participate, but he cannot vote in the proceedings. So clearly third is wrong. So it's between how you take second statement. If you think he's part of legislative, then you may consider it. So it's a very dicey, open to interpretation. But I think the real technically, I mean, he's a union execute part of the union executive. So second should also be wrong, only one. But yeah, maybe I don't know. I mean, even C can be correct. Depends on the, you have to see the wait for the MPSC key. So question number 7, a resolution to remove the president. So it's another factual question. So all these removals of various offices and all impeachment, you should know by heart. So here it's 1/4 of the total members. Vote on account and interim budget. So basically, vote on account deals with expenditure. Yes, that is true, and the interim budget has both components. So second is definitely true. And the first one, so interim budget is basically passed when you don't have, I think in the election year, because there's no much time for the regular budget, so interim budget is passed, and both are passed by the regular government. I mean, if you want to call that a caretaker government, then it's a judgment call in the last year of their period. If you want to call them caretaker government, that's an interpretation. So this is quite grey, and this is quite grey. And so again, that is the thing with MCQ questions. It can go either way how you interpret it, and sometimes there is no exact right, or it can be right, but the question setter has the final say on it. So, but then as per me, it should be both are done by regular government, so answer should be B here. Question number 9, writs, it's simple, straightforward. Article 226 for High Court. Recognition of official, again, so this is in Meghalaya, this is in the news, you all know that, recognition of for our languages and all that, so of course it has come from there. Another question on the schedule, so that's an again. Question number 11 on the sedition. Now this is also a very dicey thing, because what comes under sedition, sometimes it's very dicey, but here I think the best option should be C, because bitter criticism of the government to overthrow it and inducing people to seize, basically you should see the exact article. I think it's 124A of section of IPC, so you'll get the detail, but I think it should be one or two kind of like they can be seen as act of sedition, so should be C here. Which of the following through and then see again a question from Amendment Act, so it's very important. So of course the word socialist secular were added. Integrity, so earlier it was I think unity, and then it was made unity and integrity, so integrity was also added, and I think equality was already there, so it should be C here. Question number 13, again a total factual question. Although we have done away with the 5-year plans, earlier there were these 5-year plans, planning commission and all that, but then these are very still relevant for the MCQs and all these kind of general study exams. So do study the 5-year plans, what happened in those 5-year plans. Then there is which of the state has, some of these states have bicameral, apart from the legislative assembly they have a legislative council as well, 2 houses like our parliament, so all of these do have, so answer should be D here. Moving on to the 15th question. This is about which commission was appointed by the government of India to reform the Indian education sector and formed on blah blah. So this was again to bring in educational reform, so it's a very famous commission, Kothari Commission. Answer should be A. Question number 16, where was the first, again factual, so answer is C. So I have highlighted all the answers in yellow, so I'll not go through the factual cases. Samanbhai, this is again from the current affairs, if you're following. CITES comp recently accepted, downgrade the status of which animal? So these are very difficult questions, I would say, because current affairs, there's so many things happening in current affairs, from where they will pick and all, but PIB, Press Information Bureau, is something you should follow, and the local newspapers something you should follow, because they may pick up from those sources. So southern white rhino, yeah, so is the answer here. Question number 19. With respect to the transboundary protected areas, which of the following TPS is between India and Nepal? So this, even if you don't know, I think you can, by the name of you can see, okay, Kanchenjunga is something, there's a possibility, Sacred Himalayan, okay, it can be. And the Manas is something which is a little away, so I don't know, it cannot be between India and Nepal, right? So 3 cannot be there. So if 3 cannot be there and 1 or 2 are likely, so yeah, maybe it should be B. So in this case, it is B. So that is how you do intelligent guess work. You have to deduce deductive logic when you don't know the exact answer. Question number 20 is on degenerative nerve diseases. All of them are degenerative. With respect to COVID, I think Omicron was even deadlier, right? But in this case, it should be Delta. Which of the following states of India shares border with Nepal? This is a simple geography question. The spelling of Arunachal Pradesh is not correct. Sorry for that. So, so it should be 1, 3 and 4. Arunachal Pradesh, though, does not form any boundaries. So it's a basic. So maps are very important. So when you study geography, I think the most useful thing is the atlas and the maps. So go through them and you should by heart know which state has boundaries with which countries, which states have boundaries with which other states. So all these things are simple questions, but in the exam, it can be difficult for you if you have not studied the atlas well. So study the atlas well so that you can answer all these questions. Which of the following popular sports were not featured during... so this is a difficult question because every different game has different list of sports and all. So in this case, para powerlifting was the part of that. So 1 should be eliminated. So the only answer should be A, B, C. So don't mind the options. The answer should be 2, 3 and 4 only. There is some mistake with the numbering of these things. So that is that. Xenophobia is, of course, fear of strangers. The next question. So these are direct questions, adventure, Sherlock Holmes. Even if you are not into reading, I think you must have heard this, Arthur Conan Doyle. But generally 1 or 2 questions are definitely on the this book and who has written. So if you are into reading, it helps a lot. This way also you can get 2 or 3, brownie questions. Question number 26, arranging elements as per density. Now, I think there is no correct option here because of course the most dense will be carbon, and then it should be oxygen, and then nitrogen and hydrogen. That is as per the from websites what I got. So I think there is no correct option here. I don't know, from where they got their sources, so this may not be a correct question. So, coming to the 27th International Chef Day, this is again factual. I don't know if many people, those who are into proper, those kind of things will know, but again, a very difficult question to answer. Yeah, the longest living root bridge, this you should be aware of. Answer should be Mockernot. Which country hosted the first? Football fans will know this. So it's and others will definitely not, because this was quite long back. I think, if I'm not wrong, 1930 or something. So which country is the new member of BRICS? So this, if you're reading the news regularly, this you should be able to answer. In this case, it should be Egypt. Which of the following organizations bring out the publication? This, though, is very important. Ease of doing business. So much. In fact, you should know the rankings as well. Like what is the India's ranking or score and how it has improved over the last so many years. So this is also very important. Question number 32 about QRSAM system of the Indian Army. And in fact, it was a collaboration with... now here, some people will say that, okay, BDL and others were also there. It's not just DRDO. But you have to see the best option, flight tested. So it was in the news. If you search for the news and all articles, everywhere it was just mentioned that it was done in collaboration with DRDO, the flight testing especially. So in this case, the best answer. So sometimes, there's no, in MCQs, it's very difficult. There can be, a very right answer. I mean, you have to choose the best answer. So here it should be DRDO. Jal Jeevan Mission. Interesting question. So much talk about Meghalaya's performance in Jal Jeevan Mission. So of course, this kind of was expected. I think one question on that. The first statement is a little dicey, I would say, because the major mission, if you see, is to provide drinking water to all the rural areas. So this can be a component. Yes, water conservation is done to augment the supplies and all that, but not exactly. So this is very grey. I mean, this can be a grey statement. So it can be, one answer can be A also here. If you see the second is definitely not correct, because the funding pattern for Northeast is different, for UTs it's different. So second statement is definitely not correct. First is debatable. You can go either way. Depends on the question setters. 34, factual question. Again, if it's in the news, you would have seen. 35, factual question. So I'm not 2022 merger. Coming to global warming. Global warming, again, I have been saying this, in environment is a very important component, and global warming, of course, climate change, global warming, these are very important things which keep on, I think, you should know all these things. So if you have been reading, you will know that all three statements are correct here. Calming. So sometimes, geography helps even if you don't know the hydropower station, but Kameng is in Arunachal, so you can make an intelligent guess like that. 37C. Which body is responsible for floods? Central Water Commission. Again, factual. If you are reading about floods, then you must have heard this name. Climate change report. Okay, so in this, again, climate change is very important, and you should, whenever these things are in the news, you should make a note of it, make short notes, because last minute you will not be able to remember all these things. So the first statement is correct, second is also correct, and India's position was 8, so third is wrong, so answer should be 1 and 2. Cyclone matching, again, is a favorite question many times. It's very difficult, and you should read about how cyclones are named and all those things. But generally, those who are in news recently, they will come. So here you can see that only, I think, the Sri Lanka and the Pakistan ones are matching. Others are, I think, reversed for India and Bangladesh. So answer should be only 2 pairs here. Common glass is soda lime glass. Asia's largest, that's in Punjab. IUCN list is very important. Which are critically endangered, which are vulnerable. These all, generally one question definitely comes from there. So here all are critically endangered. Trapping zone. Recently in news, and very interesting phenomena. You should watch the documentaries on it and all. And in fact, it was in Maldives. In Maldives. So second is wrong. So the rest is correct. So answer should be 1 and 3 here. Ischemic heart disease. So it's because of that breathing those particles of those PMI something 2.5 particles. So it's relating to air pollution. Hurricanes, tornadoes, hurricanes, cyclones. This is also generally in the questions, so you should know about all these things. Hurricanes tornadoes are basically stronger, so third statement is not correct, so answer should be 1 and 2. Kaziranga, 1985, World Heritage Site. Again, a very factual question. I don't know, how many of you can remember this. Blue Duke, again, recently from current affairs, again, very difficult question. But then World Environment Day 2020, it is you should have covered this in the current affairs preparation. RTIS, real-time train information, it was in collaboration with ISRO. So the first statement is wrong, and the remaining 2 are correct, so it should be second and third. Which are the part of Web3? Now, all are part of Web3, the whole blockchain especially. And some things are overlapping between Web 2.0 and Web 3.0, but I think here the answer should be D. Talking about short range devices, so CCTV, the closed circuit television is a short, you use for your short, for example, in home or offices. LAN is a short range device. Radio frequency, I think it can be used for long distances as well. So answer should be 1 and 3 here. COVID pandemic. Okay, of course, one question on COVID. In fact, one other was there. So COVID questions though will come for some years. You will get COVID questions. So prepare well. Covishield was not a mRNA vaccine. So one is wrong definitely. The other two are correct. So answer should be second and third. Again, a very direct factual question from general science. Browning of proteins. Maillard reaction should be the correct answer here. Enzymes, again from general science. So trypsin is something which is found in pancreas. So third is wrong. So B and D are out. Third is wrong. So C and D are out. So second is also because it's sensitive to temperature. So only one is correct. So one only. Beriberi. So all these vitamin deficiency diseases you should learn by heart, and which vitamin and what is the scientific name and what is the common name. So here the answer is thiamine. Question number 56. Instrument to measure the depth of water. There are many instruments. Again, this is a very also common question, a very generic question. What is this instrument used for? What is altimeter used for? What is galvanometer used for? All these things you should know. So answer here should be fathometer. 57 about Mars. Basically, which is the this is okay. This is again from, you can say, the global warming, and it is relating to methane emissions. It's a satellite-based system. So there was a detailed report. In fact, you should read, if you Google, it will come. It was very nicely described, and it was launched in the COP held in Egypt. So one is correct. Satellite-based, yes. Methane emissions. Methane being a greenhouse gas. But it's much more responsible than 10%. I think it's about 30%, 30 or 25%. So statement 3 here is wrong. 1 and 2 correct. So you see the importance of environment and environment related. So when you're reading newspapers, if there is anything about environment, I think you should be like totally onto it and make short notes and stuff like that. 58 about which acid should be acetic acid in tomato. Basalt is igneous rock. When the earthquake comes, the first two detected in the seismogram is a primary wave. Hailstorm. So hailstorms, when the water droplets are taken up, and then the temperature is too cold up there and they freeze, and that causes the hailstorm. So should be B here. Equatorial low pressure belts are also referred as doldrums. So should be D. Current is this cold current, and which current goes where, from in which ocean, and which countries it affects. That is a favorite question from geography segment. So you should know all the currents. So that's very, if you know, it's very difficult. Otherwise, the name are very close by. So you should know them by heart. Continental rise, again from geography, a famous topic, and very important. Here in this question, there is generally continental rise does not fall in this range. So third is wrong. So the answer should be 1, 2, and 4. Coral reefs, again a favorite question, and it's not a plant species. Coral reefs, in fact, are classified as animal species. So 1 will be wrong. So answer should be 2, 3, and 4. So here, even if you don't know the other things, but you are very sure that it is not a plant species. So 1 is definitely not correct, and if you look at the options, only C, 1 is not there. So this is how you will have to solve these kind of questions, where you know some and where you don't know. Question 66, identify the state. If you go by, now this also, I don't know. This is largest bridge. It's both from Assam and Arunachal. It goes to, I think, Arunachal. So, but then if you go just by this statement, the latitude and longitude, the correct answer, because Assam is not even listed in the options. So, it should be Arunachal Pradesh. So sometimes, of course, so there have been comments in the previous video, some questions are wrong, some option correct answers are not there. But in what to do, because there is no negative marking, so you have to select the best option among all in the MCQs. So this again, geography, Narmada and Tapi flow into the Arabian Sea. Answer should be 1 and 2. Then coming to the characteristics on climatic conditions, and these climatic conditions essentially they describe the tropical monsoon. So answer should be B here. Albedo, this is also a very famous question. In fact, you should know how much is the albedo of water, how much is the of the clouds and all that. So here, of course, the highest is of snow. Albedo is basically that how much of light is reflected, sunlight is reflected. So when you are in a snow covered area and then there's sunlight, it's the light is so strong you have to use shades. So that's the albedo of snow is very high. Indian history, which reforms? So this is match and match question. I think the only correct one is any Besant here. So that you should know all those who was behind which. Arya Samaj, Satya Shodhak Samaj, and then the Brahma Samaj and all those things you should remember. This is from history. The Mauryan Empire, this is also important. So there was various phases in the history, right? I mean, there was one kind of ruler, then another kind of ruler came, and then in the ancient history I'm talking about, and ancient history and also the medieval. Then there was one kind of dynasty was there. So it's important to remember the first one and the last one, especially of that particular dynasty. So here it's talking about the Mauryan Empire, so who was the last and all those things. Answer should be Brihadratha. I don't know if the spelling is correct, but answer should be A here. And then there were various people visiting India at that point of time, during which who's Ryan, and this is also important. So here the answer should 72. The Fahian came during the Chandragupta II. Paleolithic age and all those things are very important. What happened during which age? Bronze age, Paleolithic age. So here all of them are correct. So answer should be 1, 2, 3. Siraj-ud-Dawla, Battle of Plassey is very important. So all these important battles from history you should know, and you should learn the facts, what happened during this. I personally feel, and it's very difficult, I found, to remember the dates and all that, but yeah, sometimes that is the deciding factor, like here, because here the date is wrong. This is wrong. So second is out of the thing, and then it's simple to answer that 1, 3, 4 are correct. So again, this can be a debatable statement, question, the fourth statement, but we definitely know that second is wrong. So the only correct option is C here. So you have to go with this because there's no 1 and 3. Okay, so you have to go with 1, 3 and 4 in this particular question. Which Veda is about what? This again is a favorite question. So you should know, in this case, music and dance, Samaveda. Treaty of Versailles is all the famous treaty from world history is also important. Okay, so when you study history, it's not just our Indian history or ancient history, world history, especially world wars and all that. So this is definitely relating to World War I. This Viceroy question, I think it's no correct option is there. I don't know, you can comment in after watching the video, because definitely Lord Curzon should be here. Pune Pact is also not correctly matched in any of the options. So I think the no correct option is there. So maybe you can in the comment section please mention the correct option. I mean, of course I could have done that, but I found that none of them are correct, so I just wrote none of the above. So in this question again, none of this correct. Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Lucknow Pact, it was not between these individuals. This was between INC and the Muslim League. So one is definitely not correct. So the answer, and the others are correct. So second and third are correct. The book, another book question. So this was by Dada Bhai Nauroji. Dandi March is famous in the modern history and questions are expected. One is correct, one's the first statement. Second is not correct, not declared illegal. So second, not correct. So, be careful for this trap. We generally, by default, we expect that, okay, which of the following are correct. We don't even read that, which of the following statements are correct. But sometimes it is which of the statements are not correct, so you have to be very careful. That's why read thrice before attempting any question. You should read thrice at least. So that's something you need to take care of. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, he was never a member. No, he was. So first statement is definitely not correct. So the answer is C here. Third is definitely correct, and second is also correct. Big contribution. Niti Aayog SDG. It's you have to. I checked and downloaded the report for this question because of course there were some news articles recently about West Khasi Hills, but that was the poverty index thing. It is this question is talking about SDG. So if you go and download the report, which is on the website of Niti Aayog, and check, the answer should be North Garo Hills here. Lorentz curve is about inequality, very famous curve. Demand deposit, basically where you can just take out the funds anytime. So answer should be savings account and current account deposits. Answer should be B here. Factual question about poverty line, 816 and 1000. Father of demographic studies. Now, shouldn't it be John Grant? But there's no option. Now, Karl Marx in his study also, he talks about different kinds of demographies and stuff. So, again, if you have to select the best answer, I don't know if it's the best answer. But then you have to mark something. So I would have marked Karl Marx, I don't know. But father of demography is definitely John Grant. So not an option. So dicey. Questionable. Wait for the answer key of the MPSC. But I would have marked Karl Marx here, the best answer. So circular flow of income in a simple economy. So in a simple economy, all these things are there, goods or services are there, factor payments you have to do, and then there's a spending, there's a circular flow of income, people make the goods and services, and then people buy the goods and services, so but then depreciation is not factored. So answer should be D here. 89, which of the following is a characteristic of a public good? Now, public goods are something which is non-excludable and non-rivalrous. This option, again, it's a gray. It should be if it was non-rivalrous between if someone consumes and it doesn't impact the other person's consumption. But rival consumption means that it will impact. So second should not be there. Ideally. So again, debatable. So I would have gone with first, but answer can also be 1 and 2. 3 is definitely not the characteristic. This word they have used, rival consumption, this should have been, if it was non-rivalrous, then it should have been 1 and 2. But they have used rival consumption, it should be A1 only. Core industries and their weightage of this is again you should know which are the core industries and which weightage is there while calculating the index of industrial promotion. Answer should be 4, 3, 2, 1 here. Coal, refinery, steel, and then cement. What is core inflation? So inflation measuring when we minus all those volatile entities. So that answer should be A here. And inflation measures excluding volatile and transitory price. Periodic labor force survey is done by NSSO. Balance of payment is an important concept of the economics part. So this like fill in the blanks should be A, credit side and capital, net national product, gross national product, gross, all these things you should know definitely and understand it well. So answer should be gross national product at market price minus the depreciation. Question number 95 is about elastic goods. So there is some, sugar, 5,000 kgs of sugar at 30 rupees it was sold, and then the supply decreased, and this price also decreased, but not like huge variation. So it is not very elastic, I would say. So the answer here should be less elastic. Money, bank money. Yeah, what is bank money? So it's basically the which is generated in the form of, or which originates in the form of credit creation. So it should be B here, bank money. MICR code. If you have in the bank check, you must have there is this code, MICR code and IFSC code. All these things are for GK. It's very important. So the correct answer is a 9-digit magnetic ink character recognition. Question number 98. Total revenue of the government without borrowing is less than the total expenditure, which is generally the case. So this is fiscal deficit. Closed economies, there's nothing goes out, nothing comes in. So answer should be D. Neither exports nor imports takes place. When RBI decreases the cash reserve ratio, it will... So cash reserve ratio is how much cash the bank should keep in liquid form. So if it is released, they can spend, they can lend more. Banks can lend more. If they can lend more, then there will be more money supply in the economy. So answer should be B. So that is it, 100 questions. So that was all. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have done well, and I wish all the aspirants all the best. And my only advice would be that whatever you have, whatever you're getting in the prelims, just continue your preparation for mains and focus on the GS part. So if you're through, of course it will help. If you're not through, it will help in the next prelims. So all the best to all the aspirants, and hope you have liked this video. And if you have liked this video, show your love and share this video. And then if any other such videos on MCS preparation are required, then do let me know. Thank you, and happy Diwali, by the way. Today is Diwali, so I wish all my viewers a very happy Diwali. Thank you. Kublai Shibun, Mithila.